Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of September, 2009. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. On this day in history, in 1923, a disastrous earthquake struck Tokyo and Yokohama, killing over 150,000 people. Of course, 70 years ago today, Nazi Germany attacked Poland, setting off the beginning of World War II, a conflagration that would last 6 years and kill untold tens of millions of people. We have two economic stories from the U.S. that came in after we put the issue to rest. The first is that the U.S. August factory index seems to have risen above the break-even point for the first time in 19 months. The Institute of Supply Management Index went up to 53% for August. This is up from about 49% in July. Analysts had been expecting an increase up to only 50.5%. This is the first time since it's been above the break-even point since January of 08. Stock market's not responding very well. It's still down about 80 points. Other good news that is good economic news is that pending home sales in the U.S. rose during the month of July. And apparently the pending home sales index rose 3.2%. So it's now 12% above where it was in July of 08. The index is based on sales contracts on existing homes. So more news that maybe the recession has in fact ended and we might be heading in the other direction. Now to our main news. If you're in Southern California and Los Angeles, you're keeping your eyes to the eastern sky. We'll look at some of these pictures here. Relentless wildfire is really raging just to the east of LA. 50-some homes have already gone up in smoke. Thousands more are threatened. Flames are now about 15 miles away from downtown Los Angeles. And the fire now is 6 days old. It's going to burn for weeks, according to firefighters. It's threatening some 12,000 homes. 2,000 people were chased from their homes in the Tujunga Canyon neighborhood. According to the fire department, they do not expect the blaze to be fully surrounded until the 15th of September, which is over 2 weeks away. 5 people refused a mandatory evacuation order to leave a remote ranch up in a canyon near Gold Creek. Firefighters had feared that they were initially trapped and were beginning to mount a rescue operation, and the wind shifted. There are very, very unfavorable conditions extant in the Los Angeles area for fighting fires. Humidity is in the single-digit area. Winds are relatively modest. The temperature's above 100 degrees. It's supposed to hit 102 today. 105,000 acres in the Angeles National Forest have been scorched. The swath of fire extends from the densely populated communities of Altadena and Sunland in the south all the way up to the desert ranch areas of Acton. 2 firefighters, as reported yesterday, were killed. The historic Mount Wilson Observatory with its telescopes and transmission towers is in danger. Fires in California are not relegated only to Los Angeles. The biggest fire is in the Sacramento area near the town of Auburn. Over 60 homes have been destroyed. The governor toured the area yesterday, Governor Schwarzenegger. East of LA, a 1,000-acre fire has damaged 1 home and threatened 2,000 others. Fires are burning down the San Bernardino Mountains. A 300-acre wildfire has erupted on the edge of the Yucaipa area in Southern California. It's forced the evacuation of 200 homes. All in all, it's one of those times of year where arid conditions and very, very low humidity has contributed to creating a virtual tinderbox in Southern California. So there could be some explosively high property damage there. We'll keep our eye on that. One place that would be wishing for some dry weather is the Yucatan Peninsula in Baja California. Hurricane Jimena is approaching, and it is probably going to be a 5 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It is an extraordinarily strong storm. Right now it's got winds of just at 155 miles per hour. It's expected to hit the California Mexican Peninsula, Baja, sometime this evening. Mandatory evacuation orders are expected to go out at midday today, another 25 minutes. They're going to move out about 10,000 people. There are still 7,000 tourists remaining in Cabo San Lucas. That international meeting held by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development has in fact been postponed and rescheduled to Mexico City. So they are facing a significant difficulty. The storm right now is about 155 miles south of Cabo San Lucas. Hurricane winds are extending as far as 45 miles away from the center. Tropical storm winds are 140 miles away from the center. And as we know, hurricanes reach Category 5 at 156. I would bet by the time I get off the broadcast, it will be at Hurricane Force 5. In Paris, Jérôme Kerviel, the so-called rogue trader, blamed by Société Générale for a $7 billion U.S. trading loss last year, has been ordered to stand trial for abuse of trust, falsifying documents, and hacking into Société Générale's computers. Investigating judges sent a letter to the lawyers in the case, informing them of their decision today. The 32-year-old Kerviel could face as much as 5 years in prison and a 375,000 euro fine if he's found guilty. Société Générale announced the trading loss in January of 2008, saying it was the result of selling unauthorized bets by, quote, a terrorist trader. The loss was more than double the lender's 2008 net income and pushed it to undertake a 5.5 billion euro rights offer to restore capital. They would expect, the French courts expect that the trial would likely be set for some time in the first 6 months of 2010. Speaking of France, French President Nicolas Sarkozy has now enlisted German Chancellor Angela Merkel in his effort to discuss the limiting of financial bonuses given to bankers. He had talks yesterday in Berlin with Ms. Merkel. He's been urging other nations to follow his example of capping bonuses to stock market traders. Sarkozy says that such a measure would prevent the excessive risk-taking by bankers. And Merkel yesterday lent her support to the policy. They both said that they wanted to agree on a coherent EU position before the G20 meeting scheduled for September 24th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And now they're going to begin to talk to London as well as to the Italians and to the Spanish, and hopefully they'll be able to have some headway made with the Americans. There's some interesting news regarding Mr. Greenberg. Maurice Greenberg and Howard Smith have agreed to settle their various legal disputes with AIG by arbitration. Since Greenberg's messy ousting from AIG 4 years ago, the two sides have been locked in a series of bitter conflicts, almost mortal combat, that included a $1 billion U.S. shareholder derivative suit brought against Greenberg and Smith by the fallen insurance giant. Yesterday, filing with the SEC, AIG said that the parties will consider arbitration on claims against the former affiliate Star International, which is controlled by Greenberg. The document said the arbitration will not include any claims brought by AIG shareholders against Greenberg and Smith, but it did say in a joint statement that companies agreed that private arbitration between AIG and Star would be a more expeditious and cost-effective solution. The two parties have apparently also agreed to a proposed list of potential arbitrators from which they'll select 3, presumably. We'll now go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news.